It's the year 1201, and the Mongolian steppe is engulfed in a chaotic tribal war. During the Battle of Qoiten, an enemy sniper fires an arrow from a mountain ridge. The shot strikes a young commander's horse mid-gallop, sending him crashing to the ground and nearly ending his life. After the battle is won, the battered commander lines up the surviving prisoners. He demands to know who fired the shot. From the ranks of the captives, a warrior named Jirqo'adai boldly steps forward and confesses. Standard nomadic tradition demanded immediate execution for such an act. On the steppe, survival was built on the logic of tribal blood feuds and absolute vengeance against any outsider who drew blood. But the commander decides to break that cycle. He pardons the sniper on the spot, renames him Jebe, meaning the arrow, and promotes him to a command position in his army. That commander was Temujin. You likely know him by the title he would later adopt, Genghis Khan. The decision to prioritize Jebe's skill over the old blood feuds of his tribe signaled a shift in how Mongol society functioned, providing the template for his entire conquest. To understand why pardoning an enemy was such a radical departure, we have to look at the environment that produced him. Out here on the vast, sparse, and unforgiving Mongolian plains, nomadic survival required intense, exclusive reliance on your immediate kin. Because resources were so scarce, society remained trapped in endless cycles of raiding and retribution. Genghis himself spent his youth fighting a decade-long campaign just to rescue his abducted wife, Borte. Previous steppe confederations had always shattered because loyalty remained tied to family lineage. If you weren't related by blood, you were a threat. Genghis realized that winning battles was a temporary fix. For his people to survive, he had to dismantle the traditional structure of steppe life. Genghis reorganized his followers using a strict decimal system, breaking apart fractured tribal groups into mixed units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. Command went to soldiers demonstrating superior skill and loyalty, pushing aside elite families who traditionally ruled by birthright. Jebe, the captive sniper, flourished in this environment. Rising quickly through the newly formed ranks, he became one of the Mongols' most elite and trusted generals, earning a place among the Khan's dogs of war. Jebe eventually demonstrated the speed of this new army by leading a relentless 7,500-kilometer cavalry pursuit of the Khwarezmian Shah across the Caspian Sea, crushing an empire in a matter of months. By forcing diverse groups into a single hierarchy, Genghis created a force that prioritized the Khan's goals over tribal pride, making it immune to internal fracture. To govern this diverse population, Genghis established a codified body of law known as the Yassa. The code relied on absolute discipline. Theft, desertion, or betrayal carried a mandatory death penalty, a rule that applied to both the common foot soldier and the highest commander. Yet, the Yassa also included practical protections. It enforced religious tolerance, exempting priests and mullahs from taxation, and provided heavy state protection for merchants traveling the Silk Road. This manuscript page, featuring Arabic script surrounding a depiction of Mongol warriors, highlights how the Yassa allow Mongol administration to function deeply within conquered territories and among diverse populations. The code ensured that even as the empire grew, its disparate subjects followed a single, predictable set of rules that kept the state productive. That same focus on integration drove his domestic policies. Instead of simply executing the leaders of rival tribes, like the Tatars and Merkits, Genghis frequently married their daughters to bind their factions to his own. This map illustrates how the empire managed its internal logistics. These wives were assigned their own autonomous camps, known as Ordos, effectively serving as regional administrators across the territory. While Genghis and his generals stayed on the war front, his chief wife Borte and the secondary wives took control of the empire's domestic economy and complex supply chains. This administrative layer allowed the military to remain on the offensive for decades without losing control of the core territories. This animated map tracks the sheer scale of the resulting expansion. Between 1206 and 1227, Mongol borders expanded in every direction, stretching from the Pacific coast into the heart of Central Asia and the edges of Eastern Europe. This expansion came at a catastrophic cost. Mongol campaigns resulted in the deaths of millions. entirely extinguishing civilizations and cementing his reputation as a ruthless conqueror. Beneath that bloodshed, however, remained a highly effective institutional framework. His insistence on meritocracy and unified legal discipline physically connected East and West, permanently altering the course of global trade. These policies ensured that while armies fought on the frontier, the interior of the empire remained a hub for cross-cultural trade, for clerical scholarship, and protecting the clergy. Genghis Khan's expansion relied on his ability to integrate talent from every land he touched, a process that took root the day he spared the man who tried to kill him.